Yeah. AllBall TV. They don't like comentario, suscribe, dame dato.
Listen. Y'all know the drill. Drive-by content. I had to pull over for this one. This is gonna be crazy. Share, like, comment, subscribe. Listen, this right here. Listen, this right here, right here. This right here about to be crazy because I ain't gonna lie. Y'all about to curse us out.
Come on, man.
Talk about it.
Wow. We talked about it. Isaiah Thomas again was on Draymond Green's podcast. Your boy, Draymond Green. That's really my boy. I think he's the GOAT. But he's on there. He's telling him to his face, a bunch of stuff to his face, and I love it. But the primary thing we're going to talk about is your boy Steph ain't on my level.
That's what he basically said. Isaiah Thomas basically told Draymond Green, I'm a better point guard than Steph Curry. Yes, I heard it correct. Isaiah Thomas is a better point guard. He might be a better player than Steph Curry.
Don't you agree? And you know the thing is, I think here's the thing. AllBall. That's why I love what we done with the 90s. See, people thought we would go against that wave. We jump with the wave. We respect entertainment. We respect points of views all day. So when that happened, I knew the other side had to come and argue. That's what we've been doing our whole life is old school versus new school. This is nothing new. So Isaiah Thomas coming out the woodworks and just letting off like this to his face. Check this out, Draymond. Your guy, Steph Curry, ain't no point guard number one. That's number one. He's not a point guard. He moved from the point guard. They had to move him. I never did that. Number two, I would have went to the 3 championships in a row. He broke down being back-to-back leading his team in points and assists. Points and assists. Hey, Draymond, you led your team in assists. Like the whole breakdown was crazy, bro. I know that people think we're just old guys in the old guys trying to hang out in the club. Nah, dog. We're trying to tell you what it was. You can be disrespectful if you want to, dismissive if you want to. Nah, this is I love Isaiah Thomas for this.
Well, listen. First, he told Draymond, Kevin Durant saved your legacy. Then he told him straight up, Steph is not the point guard. You're the point guard. You average more assists than Steph. You run the offense. Steph is a shooter. He run around screens. Like he said, he gave him props. The best shooter in the world. But when we talk about point guard, here's my case on why I think Isaiah Thomas is better than Steph Curry. And I've been saying this. I've said this for a while. The Golden State Warriors dynasty is suspect. Y'all lost 73-9. I think that was the year Steph was unanimous MVP. Let's not forget, unanimous MVP, 73-9, up 3-1, and nobody gives no flack about that. Now, Isaiah Thomas, 6'1", number 2 pick. That was his team, number 1 option. Back-to-back titles against prime Michael Jordan, prime Magic Johnson, prime Larry Bird. I'm going to say that again. Isaiah Thomas, back-to-back champion. And like he told him, I led in assists and points. And if I'm not mistaken, he's the only player that's ever done that. And if he's not the only player, you can't name 3 that did that. He averaged points and assists on his team the most back-to-back championships. He beat prime Mike, prime Magic, prime Reggie Miller. Prime Larry Bird. Now, here's where Isaiah Thomas separates himself from Steph Curry. Playoff performance. Steph Curry's not great in the playoffs. So we can't have it both ways. What do we want to matter? Regular season or playoffs? Because it's not even close. I've seen Steph Curry look terrible in the playoffs. Mind the numbers. I watched him get locked down by Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love. When players get hurt, he couldn't take over. He lost to Toronto. Like I said, 73-9, unanimous MVP, up 3-1. Regardless of whatever happened with Draymond, y'all had Game 7 at home. So for me, if Kevin Durant doesn't go to Golden State, Steph Curry with 1 or 2 rings, these conversations is different. Isaiah Thomas is the second greatest point guard of all time. Let me say that again. Magic is Steph Curry is top 5, but Isaiah Thomas is the second greatest point guard of all time. The difficulty, what he had to go through, broke an ankle, 25 straight in the quarter on a broken ankle. I don't know how many players can do that under 6'2". Listen, man, guys like Isaiah, Tim Duncan need to be mentioned a lot more when it comes to these lists. When it comes to greatest point guard lists, I'm tired of hearing about everybody but Isaiah. When it comes to the GOAT list, I'm tired of hearing about everybody behind Mike except Tim Duncan. Listen, I know this is going to hurt some people's feelings. As great as Steph Curry is, he's not a better point guard than Isaiah Thomas. I'm sorry. And when it comes to playoff performance, Curry comes up short a lot. I mean, what are your thoughts on what Isaiah Thomas said and what I'm saying? Am I jumping out the window?
No, I think the nail in the coffin for me, that nobody wants to talk about, and you kids are not going to understand what Wilt Chamberlain told Michael Jordan. And a lot of them, I could put Michael Jordan in perspective, way more perspective now, because, again, I have a beef with him, and if he's better than Hakeem Olajuwon in the early night, I got a whole thing about that. But Wilt told Mike, yo, they ain't changed the rules for me, bro. They changed the rules to try to stop me. They changed the rules for Mike to help him out, which means the beef that Isaiah and the Pistons had from back then, which is why part of the reason why they're bitter and everything, no disrespect to him, with Mike, is that, bro, we have the recipe to kill a one-on-one player. That's not how you play basketball. And they changed the rules to help Mike, meaning they changed the rules to get rid of the Pistons. They didn't put the rules in there to help Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons. Wow. They put the rules in there to hurt him. Players like teams like him. Steph, they put in rules to help Steph Curry, James Harden, all these shooters, to make it easier for you. They didn't make the game easier for Isaiah. They made it harder for the 6-foot guy. So that stuff really, and it's always irritated me about Isaiah, because I get it. It's like, it's shout out to Flea. I was saying, yo, at this point, Isaiah sounded like Dame Dash to Jay-Z. He's like Dame Dash to Michael Jordan's Jay-Z, because he sounds bitter about it. But at the end of the day, there's certain things that we look at Dame and we go, he's right about that. No matter how bitter, because he's a way worse version, I think, in terms of just the way he comes off.
Right.
But there's certain things Isaiah's right about. And he has a lot to that. But the point is, that to me is the nail in the coffin. The kids don't want to understand, yes, there are more skilled players on that court today. Steph Curry would have been, I don't think he would have been Steph Curry back then, because the likes of him were helped out by Michael Jordan against the Pistons. They were saying, bro, we got the McDonald's commercial, the Gatorade commercials at nighttime. We got the NBA promoted 24/7 because of Michael Jordan. You ain't getting in his way. You ain't Magic. You ain't Larry Bird. That's what they're basically telling Isaiah, and he still won. He went to 3 straight, and shout out to Matt. It was Matt God.
Yes.
It would have been 4 straight finals if he didn't turn the ball over. That was his fault in the conference finals. Conference finals, not the first round, not the second round. In the conference finals, that play cost them to go to the championship. So it would have been 4 straight.
3 straight finals, right? And then the 4th year, a conference finals. In the time when Mike, Bird, Magic were in their prime. Remember, he didn't beat over the Magic or over the hill Bird or over the hill Mike. Listen. So, I'm sorry to cut you off, but, I just want people to really understand. I understand Curry changed the game. Like, what he's done to the game is, listen, I told you, for me, he's the most influential basketball player of all time. To me, over LeBron, Jordan, and Kobe, and Iverson. But influential.
Stop right there. Please, I'm sorry. Why isn't Isaiah Thomas talked about in terms of influence?
You know why? He got the beef with Jordan. Come on, let's call it what it is. And it seems like, I don't know him personally, but watching, it seems like he may be a little difficult to deal with, and I'm gonna explain why. They don't like people that tell the truth. No, I'm not saying that to throw a shot. I love Isaiah. Like, I would love to meet Isaiah and talk to him. I'm just saying, from the outside looking in, they don't want people telling the truth. You telling me nobody ever thought about what Isaiah Thomas said to Draymond Green as far as Kevin Durant going over there and saving that legacy? But nobody wants to say that in public because people are scared of the backlash. Isaiah doesn't care about backlash. And you got to realize what. Remember, if you're great and you are as great as Magic, Mike, and them guys because you won in that era, wouldn't you be tired of hearing everybody being spoken about but you? That's human nature. So it's human nature to get upset when you hear about everybody else being spoken about in this greatness, in this light, and they keep forgetting to mention your name. It's wrong. It's wrong. Listen, when they bring up Mike, LeBron, Kobe, God rest his soul, Magic, Kareem, they even bring up KD. How you bringing up KD with only 2 rings? Isaiah got 2. They don't even bring up Tim Duncan. They bring up Shaq, Will Chamberlain, Bill Russell. So, of course, if I'm Isaiah, I'm upset too. Because, listen, if ain't nobody going to speak for me, I got to speak for myself. And listen, man, it may come off a little smug, a little arrogant, a little attitude-ish, if that's a word. If not, I made that up, attitude-ish. But listen, he has a valid and a great point. Like he said, I led my team in 2 categories, assists and points, in back-to-back championships.
But I want to talk about with the influence real quick, because that to me is not talked about. The entire 90s looks like the Pistons. The Knicks, the Pacers, the Bulls. All y'all look like that. And then hold on. If the whole decade looked like that, right? The next decade, they try to get rid of the rules because they needed more Michael Jordans. So they put the zone in there. Shaq was too much. Shaq could kill any offense or whatever, any defense. But they were saying, yo, we want to get rid of Shaq, of course, but also we want to allow these kind of players on the court because they knew, oh, Detroit put the blueprint out there of how to stop the one-on-one guy, but the one-on-one guy is the guy that promotes the league the best. We've seen all the big men. They never took the league to this level. It was Magic, Bird, then Jordan. And those are perimeter players. You can't have the Piston-style defense with those rules. They're going to X out the guy that we need to be the champion. And this is just a fact. So that influence of Isaiah Thomas, he led all that. A word, I learned this from Bobby Knight. This is how you play ball, bro. And he X'd them out. Like, that to me is not talked about enough. And again, we always talk about Isaiah Thomas or refer to him because we love Brunson. He's on the Knicks. But that's the anomaly. For some reason, you guys forgot. And Tom Thibodeau on the Knicks, I brought it back to the Knicks somehow. But that's our blueprint. Not the 2000 Pistons, the 80s Pistons. When Isaiah Thomas sitting there breaking down, bro, you look at the highest rated games in the 80s. It's us. It's us versus the Lakers, us versus the Bulls, us versus the Celtics. You need the villain. The Rock is cool and all that, but what is he without Triple H and the bad guy? The Pistons were the bad guy, and they embraced it. Who's the bad guy today?
Well, that's a great point. And him not being mentioned as influential, I have no problem with that. I really don't. I don't think, all right, but hey, we can agree to disagree. My thing is he needs to be mentioned way more often. When they talk about point guards, they literally say 2 names. And then a lot of people like Jason Kidd is my favorite point guard ever. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's my favorite. He's in my top 5. I hear him honorable mention a lot. I don't never hear Zeke. I hear Gary Payton. I hear a lot about John Stockton. People even bring up Chris Paul before they bring up Isaiah Thomas. These are facts. So the NBA tricked us to not love or like Isaiah Thomas. You can't do that to a real fan, a real basketball fan. Isaiah Thomas is better than Steph Curry. I don't think what Isaiah Thomas did, Steph Curry can do that. I just don't. Let's break it down. Today's Michael Jordan is who? LeBron James. Now, of course, Curry beat LeBron 3 times. But 2 of those times, Kevin Durant had to come and save the day. But the first series, when LeBron, his 2 guys went down, people say that's why y'all won. Then when he came back, y'all lost. Now, let's talk about, let's say, Magic Johnson or Larry Bird. Steph Curry, Toronto. You couldn't do it by yourself. KD got hurt. Clay got hurt. Y'all got smoked in 6 games. And you was terrible. Them last 2 games, you was terrible. Kawhi wiped you up. So my thing is, I'm talking about playoff performances, finals performances. He only has 1 finals MVP. Like I said, if we going by that logic, Isaiah Thomas is better than Steph Curry. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. But like Isaiah said, you run off screens, catch and shoot, which is nothing wrong with that. Like I said, Curry, for me, he's not top 10 yet for me.
For all time?
But he's right there. Nah, he's not top 10. No.
He ain't. Listen, people don't want to hear what I got to say. Like,
know,
if we talking about the whole era, the whole existence of basketball,
but
no.
But he's a great player. He's legendary. He's going down in history. I will never take that away from him. But in this case, numbers and championship rings don't tell the whole story. What Isaiah Thomas did, I didn't see Steph Curry do that yet. I'm sorry. I've seen him when Draymond Green was out, when Clay was out. I think they lost in the play-in. So for me, I know everybody need help, but listen, man, Isaiah Thomas needs to be mentioned a lot more. When we talk about top 10, listen, I might have to mention him more than Akeem Olajuwon. I'm sorry. Mike was retired. I don't care what nobody say. All that Kenny and them, yeah, we still the one. We don't know that. All I'm saying is Mike was retired. But when Mike was there in his prime, Zeke won. So they got to start figuring that out. Listen, I'll put Zeke over Bill Russell. I mean, not Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain. Because if we go by people's logic, I'm just saying. Listen,
Hold on,
man.
I gotta laugh at that first because Will is so crazy. Nah, Will is so crazy. But to your point, leadership, leading the squad. Come on, man. David, he is David versus Goliath.
And how many Will got? 2?
2.
Right. And Isaiah got 2. Under way harsher and harder circumstances. Once again, it doesn't take away from the greatness of Will Akeem. Nobody. I'm just saying, I have no problem if somebody have their list and Zeke is in there ahead of Hakeem or Will Chamberlain. I'm sorry. I just won't.
And you know what point I don't want to forget? Now that as you were talking, because we love to talk about this era, the medicine is better. They play 20 years now, easier. Okay. So all you're telling me is that back then they had a certain amount of time to win and to play great. Isaiah Thomas took advantage of every single second, it felt like. So you guys, the owners make you take off. Steph Curry complained about it. Also, I want to play, but they're not letting me play. Isaiah had to play. On a sprained ankle, broken ankle in the finals, whatever it was, he dropped 25 points. They didn't lose because of him. All they have is the Larry Bird incident. That was big time. Like you said, they branded the whole game against them. I can see why he feels a certain way, even though he was always a part of the league, though. Like he was that interview with Draymond is amazing. He's been part of the last 40. My whole life, Isaiah Thomas has been a part of the NBA, CBA owner, Toronto Raptors GM, or whatever it was.
Coach,
everything. He coached those Pacers before they went to the finals. After they went to the finals. Before they went to the finals. I just feel like he's not talked about enough, and that's like damn near a cautionary tale of what not to do. And look, that's why he was the first person to speak up for Draymond when he said, "Yo, they trying to set you up to be Barkley. You can't be out there doing whatever you want to do. They need you to be an ambassador for the game post game. Trust me, don't be doing all that. You got to chill out." I don't think Draymond listened, but to your point, bro, they try to whitewash Isaiah Thomas's whole brand.
Yeah. And my thing is, like I said, I'm gonna just leave it on this note. Whatever your top 10 is, a lot of people have Wilt Chamberlain and Hakeem in their top 10. They both have 2 rings, just like Isaiah Thomas. whose path was more difficult? Out of the three, Wilt Chamberlain, Akeem Olajuwon, Isaiah Thomas, who had the hardest path to the championships?
I don't think anybody has a better resume. Cause I always argue Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant and Shaq in a way. That era, they played that Western Conference in the early 2000s, right? Kobe Bryant had to play, I think, way better two guards than Mike. And they won. Their path was crazy to me because they had the best teams in his conference. But Isaiah Thomas didn't have the tougher Eastern Conference, and he had the Lakers to play in the finals. The Portland Trailblazers at that time. The Rockets didn't make it, but the Rockets didn't make it. But I think Isaiah Thomas, in terms of team, I don't think nobody's touching that Pistons resume, bro. They beat the three GOATs.
Bro, listen, that's what I'm saying. Who's out of those three legends, who has the more impressive run? That's all.
I don't think it's close.
And hold on. He's 6'1". Those other guys are 7 foot. All I'm going to say is big shout out to Baby Cash Money. Put some respect with a K on Isaiah Thomas, a.k.a. Zeke's name. I'm just saying. We can't be having these top lists. And like I said, he has everything. And he beat 3 of the top 10 to ever play the game. Bird, Magic, and Jordan is in everybody's top 10. Come on now.
And like I would say, Kareem, that's four out of the top 10, right? That you might be in your top 10 today. Right? But that's today, people might say that. Back then, they were definitely saying that. Like back then, remember, you cutting the talent pool in half. He played, remember, that means you're playing against the ultimate superstars with the TV deals and everything. He knows he's going into every single game like, oh, they're going to give them the calls. They getting the calls on me. We the bad boys.
Yeah, look at the era.
Nah. Hold on. The bad boys. Remember, if you were a villain, you got to walk in there. They're not going to give us nothing. We're going to smack everybody around. They really changed the game. They had all the pressure on them. Yeah, man. Isaiah Thomas, he might have to get the salute for top 20 automatic, and we got to start talking about him way more often about leadership, how to hold down your own people, how to hold down
You said top 20 automatic?
I think automatic because I've been having Giannis there.
Nah. See, that's what I'm saying. How was Giannis there? He got one.
That's what I'm saying. Before I would say Giannis automatic, for some reason I'm blinded. Shout out to Dime Dropper. Shout out to Dime. He always told me, yo, he might be a little too biased to the big man. Yo, how are we not giving more props to somebody who led his team? Yo, he was such a G. You hear the story he's telling about how I let my nephew stay with Mike. You were good in Chicago because of me and my family. Like, yo, how much more of a Don can you be?
But see, if Giannis is in there, then Kawhi and KD gotta be in there. See, I don't see for me, because they got more than Giannis. See, for me, I'm just saying this. Zeke arguably should be top 10. If not, he's definitely top 15. For me, if we have players in the top 10 that only has 2 rings, which is Wilt Chamberlain and Akeem Olajuwon, don't get blinded by the MVPs and the Defensive Player of the Years. Don't get blinded by that. We talk about a 6-foot guard. The odds was against him. He beat 4 of the greatest players of all time. Back to back. That's all I'm saying. So, for me, I'm putting him above Kawhi. I'm putting him above Giannis. I'm putting him above KD. I'm putting him above all of them. So, for me, no guaranteed top 20. He'd probably be guaranteed top 12. Because after your 10, who's coming after that? If we know the regular 10, I don't want to go through the names, but we know the regular 10. Now, let's say the next 5 is where we got Kawhi, Giannis, Curry, Isaiah. Like, you understand what I'm saying? KD. Nah, he's before all of them.
Yeah.
They ain't do what he did. Nah. Isaiah Thomas deserves a lot more respect. And I love that someone gave him a platform, big shout out Draymond Green, for him to speak his piece. Because you got to remember, a guy like Isaiah Thomas, they know how he going to give it up. So he can't be on any platform. Because nobody wants to hear that. The way the world is today, that sensitive, nobody wants to hear somebody go, yeah, I'm better. Yeah. Remember, he's saying that against the players that's beloved, beyond love. But that's what sports is missing. The truth. This is how people really feel about themselves. Big shout out to Isaiah Thomas. He's better than Stephen Curry. Yes, I'm saying it. I agree.
They don't like comentario y suscribe. Fabian Perspective.
Hey.
Oh, ball.
Be gentle in the comments, please.
No, don't be gentle. Go hard. Bad boys, baby.
They scared